Somewhat mentioned, but I said I never seen no sign you ever sent your spirit out to hurt no one, and seeing I do live so closely with you, they dismissed it. Who accused me? I am bound by law. I cannot tell it. I only hope you'll not be so sarcastical no more. 4 judges and the king's deputy sat to dinner with us, but an hour ago, I would have you speak civilly to me from this out. Go to bed. I'll not be ordered to bed no more, Mr. Proctor. I am 18 and a woman, however single. Do you wish to sit up? Then sit up. I wish to go to bed. Good night, then. Good night. Dissatisfied, uncertain of herself, she goes out. Wide-eyed, both Proctor and Elizabeth stand staring. Oh, the noose. The noose is up. There'll be no noose. She wants me dead. I knew all week it would come to this. They dismissed it, you heard her say. And what of tomorrow? She will cry me out until they take me. Sit you down. She wants me dead, John. You know it. I say sit down. She sits, trembling. He speaks quietly, trying to keep his wits. Now, we must be wise, Elizabeth. Oh, indeed. Indeed. Fear nothing. I'll find Ezekiel Cheever. I'll tell him she said it were all sport. John, with so many in the jail, more than Cheever's help is needed now, I think. Would you favor me with this? Go to Abigail. What have I to say to Abigail? John, grant me this. You have a faulty understanding of young girls. There is a promise made in any bed. What promise? Spoke or silent, a promise is surely made. And she may dote on it now, I am sure she does, and thinks to kill me, then to take my place. Proctor's anger is rising. He cannot speak. It is her dearest hope, John. I know it. There be 1,000 names. Why does she call mine? There be a certain danger in calling such a name. I am no goody-good that sleeps in ditches, nor Osborne, drunk and half-witted. She dare not call out such a farmer's wife, but there be monstrous profit in it. She thinks to take my place, John. She cannot think it. John, have you ever shown her somewhat of contempt? She cannot pass you in the church, but you will blush. I may blush for my sin. I think she sees another meaning in that blush. And what see you? What see you, Elizabeth? I think you be somewhat ashamed, for I am there, and she so close. When will you know me, woman? Were I a stone, I would have cracked for shame this 7 month. Then go and tell her she's a whore. Whatever promise she may sense, break it, John, break it. Good, then I'll go. He starts for his rifle. Good, then I'll go. He starts for his rifle. Oh, how unwillingly. I will curse her hotter than the oldest cinder in hell. But pray, begrudge me not my anger. Your anger? I only ask you. Woman, am I so base? Do you truly think me base? I never called you base. Then how do you charge me with such a promise? The promise that a stallion gives a mare I gave that girl. Then why do you anger with me when I bid you break it? Because it speaks deceit, and I am honest. But I'll plead no more. I see now your spirit twist around the single error of my life, and I will never tear it free. You'll tear it free when you come to know that I will be your only wife, or no wife at all. She has an arrow in you yet, John Proctor, and you know it well. Quite suddenly, as though from the air, a figure appears in the doorway. They start slightly. It is Mr. Hale. He's different now, drawn a little, and there is a quality of deference, even of guilt, about his manner now. Good evening. Why, Mr. Hale, good evening to you, sir. Come in, come in. I hope I do not startle you. No, no, it's only that I heard no horse. You are good wife Proctor? Aye, Elizabeth. I hope you're not off to bed yet. Proctor setting down his gun. No. No. Hale comes further into the room, and Proctor to explain his nervousness. We are not used to visitors after dark, but you're welcome here. Will you sit down, sir? I will. Let you sit, good wife Proctor. She does, never letting him out of her sight. There is a pause as Hale looks about the room. Will you drink cider, Mr. Hale? No, it rebels my stomach. I have some further traveling yet tonight. Sit you down, sir. Proctor sits. I will not keep you long, but I have some business with you. Business of the court? No, no. I come of my own without the court's authority. Hear me. I know not if you are aware, but your wife's name is mentioned in the court.